aquarium's down that way, I think.
Oh, yeah. Das Aquarium finden Sie in der Wasserzeit. The water side.
Hello, I'm Carol Lee.
And I'm Charles.
We're an old married couple who enjoys traveling, cooking, and having adventures.
Together we enjoy all the wonderful things the world has to offer.
Join us as we discover the wonder about us. Chin chin.
Today we're in Kiel, Germany, which is the cruise ship port for Hamburg, if you're going to go into Hamburg. I kind of wanted to go into Hamburg because I wanted to get like a hamburger. But we didn't. We decided to stay in Kiel today because they've got this aquarium and they have maritime museum. So apparently Kiel is a very like nautical town.
There's an actual official cruise ship port here.
Yeah, there's an actual cruise ship port here. It's part of the Hanseatic League of sailing traders during the 13th and 14th century.
Behind us, there's quite a nice yacht club or harbor.
And apparently every year, which was just 3 weeks ago, they had what they call Kiel Week, where sailing ships from all over the world, like big tall ships and pirate ships and stuff, come to Kiel to celebrate, just sailing and that sort of sailing nautical life.
Yeah, with the three masted schooners and
all that groovy stuff.
We get what in the U.S. we don't get the opportunity to see those kind of ships very often. Here in this part of the world, there's a lot of them. We were in, I think it was Stockholm, and there was I was getting all excited because there was 3 and 4 out there, and I've seen pictures of, what's that called, Kiel Week? What's it called?
Yeah, Kiel Week.
Yeah. Yep. And I've seen pictures, and there's hundreds of them, and it's just it's just amazing because we just don't see those types of ships in California anyway.
Yeah, so we'll have to come back sometime for that.
Yeah.
But now we're going to go down to first of all, tip. Our cruise director told us that that everybody takes credit cards in Germany. Germany is one of the most advanced nations in the European Union, and so you'd think that credit cards would be as prevalent as they are in the U.S.
Well, and she told us that they don't like cash so much.
Yeah, she specifically said that. And basically everywhere we've been, cash only.
We were at the aquarium, and now we're on our way back to the ship to see if we can get some euros.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the sun. Oh, now there's Betty. Oh, there's Mama.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we've been back to the ship. There's the ship. We walked all the way back. I don't know how many miles we got on our Fitbits today.
And have done nothing yet.
Except for get euros. Anyway, instead of the aquarium, we're going to do the Maritime Museum first because it's so close to the ship and it's free. So we think. It says it's free on the website. We'll find out. So, and then hopefully we'll pick up a Wi-Fi there and download the app so we can use one of these little electric scooters. And we'll see how that goes. So we can make it back to the to the aquarium without exhausting ourselves, because it is pretty warm out here today.
It's humid.
It's humid. It's a warm summer in Germany.
We got a nice cool breeze, but it's humid, so you get hot.
Yeah, you get hot, especially if you're old like us and overweight and don't get a lot of walking in on a normal day. We'll check. It's boat shaped. Interesting old stereogram machine. I feel like I need to whisper because I'm in a museum. But it's got 8 sides to it, and each one of them is 3 views behind the one to the left of it. And it's just got like old-timey maritime pictures of old Kiel and the description above the lenses of what you can see, and so you can sit around it.
Both in English and German.
Yeah, both in English and German. Oh, well. So you everybody sits around it, just like sweats and watches all the pictures. It's really neat. It's also like freaking hot in here. From the, because they start out from on both sides, right?
I know.
Silver.
That must be because they're so young.
What did you think of the Kiel aquarium, Geomar?
Well, there's no English translation. Google Translator doesn't work real well. And we use the one with the camera, so you don't have to type in everything. And it was okay, but everybody needed to do it on their phone because it's a bit small. The person at the front desk was extremely rude, but
She wasn't rude, she was downright mean.
she got really upset at Charles because there's a glass between them, and he didn't say hello. He just said 2, please, and she said,
hello,
hello. Yeah. And then when he said hello back, she went, so that was a bit on her. And there's nobody inside to help translate or tell anything. The pictures, you have to, I thought because of the arrows, I thought they were the left aquarium and the right aquarium.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was a little bit confused with that, but then...
They were a touch screen, so
They were a touch screen, and you just went through the pictures, the slides, and you didn't know really which aquarium the fish were in because they didn't have one at every aquarium. But it was interesting. I mean, it was real tiny. Cool. It was only €3.
For €3, but cash only.
Cash only, and euros only.
Yeah.
And the person in front of us got in trouble because they didn't have small enough euros. She's like, do you have anything smaller?
Yeah.
And so they need to get a new person at the front desk. But maybe
probably a volunteer position.
It's probably not her normal position. Is why she's grumpy. But I think for €3, it was good. A couple different kinds of jellies. You definitely use the translators on the fish that are on the slide. Those were quite interesting. Mm-hmm. And then at least slide through the slide so you know what you're looking for. A lot of the fish here I hadn't seen this small before.
Yeah, so they were all Baltic sea fish.
But we saw flounders that are only this big.
Yeah.
And we saw needlefish that were only this big. And so that was quite amazing. Yeah.
Yep.
And the seals, they I think they're on shift change because one swims out and one swims in.
Yeah, I mean, this place, the reviews aren't so great because it's so tiny, but really, it's €3. I thought it was great. It gives you a lot of the fish that were in the Baltic Sea, which is really interesting.
Yeah, I think for €3, it's definitely worth it. Yeah. I'm an aquarium person. I took a couple pictures. Oh, the rockfish was tiny.
Yeah.
He was like this big. He was really tiny. So it was kind of like a miniature version, but they were all live. So that was interesting. Yeah. So yeah, I would recommend for €3, but like I said, it's cash.
All right. Now we're gonna hop on our scooters and get some lunch.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kiel is it's like seaside tourist town. So there's a lot of down the boardwalk. There's a lot of like restaurants and ice cream shops and stuff like that. And so, where did we go?
So Kiev is.
Kiel.
I always say Kiev.
I actually think it's pronounced Kiel, but
yeah.
I always say Kiel, so I don't know.
I always think of like chicken Kiev, and I always get it wrong. Wrong country. So remember, there's an actual cruise ship harbor here. So it's not like just a dock. It's an actual boarding, like San Diego or Miami or Fort Lauderdale have.
And it's very touristy for the locals too. Like all of the local Germans, it was a nice day, and everybody came to the beach.
And so, so you've got the dock for the cruise ships, which is quite large. They look like they could handle 3 cruise ships at a time there. So. And then they had the yacht harbor, and I think there was a little yacht club there. I don't remember, but it was a nice boat harbor there. And then on the opposite side, then they had a nice boardwalk, and then they had all this grass. This particular beach has no real beach. It just is like...
This is a lawn for...
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I meant there was no sand.
Yeah. It was just a harbor.
And so it's actually part of an inlet. It's not actually... It's an inlet on the... It's kind of like a bay.
Yeah.
Inlet. And so then they had all this grass area and lots of trees and such. And then they had this, like I said, a nice boardwalk along it, and it had several different, like Charles said, some little ice cream stands and some different. They had like just walk up kind of stands where you could just get, like a bratwurst and walk away, or hamburgers. And
little takeaway stands.
Yeah. And then we went to the very, very end and to this place called Nord, which is north. Okay. And was it North Sail or
North Wind?
North Wind, yeah. So Nord Wind. So it stands for north. So it's a North Wind, and it was really quite large. It had an interior area, an outside area, and then I don't know if you noticed that even they had like those covered lounge chairs.
Yeah. On
the grass, and the waiters were going out and helping those guys
really?
too.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Cool.
Yeah. And the place was quite busy, and Charles had looked it up. Looking for a place for breakfast because we thought we were going to
so they actually had breakfast there. So that was one of the things. We thought we slept late because we didn't expect to spend a lot of time in Kiel. We didn't take an excursion. We just were going to go to the aquarium and the Maritime Museum. So I thought, well, why don't we eat breakfast on shore? But we wound up eating breakfast on the boat anyway. But that's how I found the place.
Yeah. So we went there, and the menu was quite lengthy, and they had some specials of the day. And did they have cocktails or just beer and wine?
I didn't notice if they had cocktails or not. They did have beer and wine.
Yeah.
No, it's Europe.
Yeah. And they had, but the menu was quite extensive, I would say, and they had it very nicely organized. And I used Google Translator on it, and Google Translator worked fantastic because was all in German. And Google Translator is a new thing for me for using it as. Like I've used it where I'll type in something, but where you actually use the camera and you just hover.
And it translates the whole menu. I mean, it's basically you take a picture of the menu and it's...
Well, you didn't even take a picture.
You just kind of move it over.
Yeah, you just move it over and it translated for him. And there were so many wonderful things on this menu. I really couldn't decide, but everything sounded like really large portions. And so that kind of helped me decide. So I decided on the fish and chips. And it was a single fillet, very lightly dusted, with homemade French fries, and I don't remember if I had bread with it or not, but it was really light and delicate. Oh, it had homemade tartar sauce. They did that. That's one of the things on the menus that talked about the homemade tartar sauce, and the tartar sauce was really, really good. And then Charles, what did you have?
Oh, so I had a currywurst, which apparently is a very popular dish in Germany.
Well, there's a restaurant.
There's an actually currywurst chain, but apparently it's like the most popular dish. In 1949, after World War II, there was a lot of British soldiers still in Germany, and curry is very popular in Britain. They consider it to be one of their national dishes because of their relationship with India. And
it's a different curry.
It's a I actually prefer British curry. But anyway, so all these British soldiers are there in Germany, and they got curry. And there's a woman named Herta Hewer or something like that in 1949. She takes the recipe for ketchup and the recipe for curry and combines them. And basically, they just drown a bratwurst in this curry ketchup and then sprinkle it with curry powder, and they call it a currywurst. And it's a freaking awesome dish. I could eat a currywurst each day, just like a regular German does.
And it came with fries as well.
And
right?
it came with fries, yeah.
So it was really good.
Yeah. So I think, on this particular cruise, we did a lot of stops where we didn't do excursions, where we planned our own thing and we figured out.
But it's about 50-50.
About 50-50. And I think we're kind of leaning more towards that direction, figuring our own thing out instead of taking an excursion. And I think in Kiel it worked out. It's a small town. Rather than going all the way into Hamburg, it was the day before disembarkation, so it was nice to be in early.
Well, and it was a short excursion too. In fact, the people that went into Hamburg, the ship was ready to depart, and they had to wait for them.
There's that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Kiel, I liked it.
I'd go back.
I'd go back. Yeah. All right. So I'm Charles.
And I'm Caroline.
Thank you for sharing
the wonder
about us.